On the Road with Kelly and Bob, the USA 250 Tour, celebrating America. Coming up on this episode,
they deemed the land too valuable, and they actually dug up all the cemeteries, moved them out here to Colma.
We, the people of the United States of America.
Hi, and thanks for joining us for this episode of On the Road with Kelly and Bob. I'm Bob Phillips.
And I'm Kelly Phillips. As we travel around all 50 states of the USA this year, we're on the lookout for places that are alive and well, towns that are growing with people and people are thriving.
And we have learned those places are just about everywhere across the country in all 50 states. But there is one place in Northern California where people aren't just concentrating on the life they live, but on what comes after life.
I was born at St. Mary's in San Francisco. I am second generation San Franciscan. My mother is fifth generation San Franciscan. I was raised here in Colma. I went to school right down the street here at El Camino High School and now live here in Colma down the street. I was raised here at Molloy's as part of a big family. I'm the youngest of 8. It was really nice growing up here in Colma.
Owen Molloy recalls the days of his youth here in Colma, California, with feelings of fondness for his family, his town, and the way he was raised.
His dad and his granddad ran the local bar called Molloy's, and it seemed that Owen knew everybody, and everybody knew Owen.
We all pitched in and helped out for all the special events here at Molloy's, and it was just a great childhood. I learned how to drive in the cemeteries here.
In the cemetery?
Oh, it's a great place to learn how to drive. I mean,
not a whole lot of traffic.
Not a whole lot of traffic. Nice, easy streets. We used to play tag, hide and go seek. The cemeteries were like our big park.
You know, it kind of is the park of Colma, right?
It really is. It's a gorgeous one too. And you never know who you're going to run into when you're up there. Joe DiMaggio's buried right up the street here. So we used to always play tag around there. Just lots of famous people are buried all around in the cemeteries here.
The 2020 census shows Colma, California with a population of just over 1,500. But as strange as it may sound, this city serves a population more than 1,000 times larger than that.
And perhaps even stranger, many of those served by Colma are also served by Molloy's Bar, or at least their friends and relatives are.
There are more people buried in Colma than there are living in Colma.
I believe it's 100 to 1.
Is that a successful business model for Molloy's?
Well, it is. We're right across the street from a Catholic cemetery.
Bar, Catholic cemetery?
It just goes hand in fist.
Your grandfather saw an opportunity.
He did. He thought no better place to start a bar in the middle of Prohibition than across the street from Holy Cross. All the Irish of San Francisco, when they get buried, of course, go to Holy Cross and then come here.
This is the Wake Bar.
This is the Wake Bar for San Francisco.
And so you're third generation to run this bar.
Yes. My father took the bar over in 1955. I took over in 2005.
So there are 17 cemeteries, and including one pet cemetery. The rumor is we have Tina Turner's dog there, wrapped in her mink stole.
That's the rumor?
Probably true.
It's true.
Helen and Dennis Fisicaro have both spent years on Colma's city council. These days, Helen is the vice mayor.
They met us in one of the cemeteries here to show us around and tell us about some of the famous dearly departed who chose Colma as their final resting place.
If you do have Tina Turner's dog there, Would that be the most famous person buried in any of these cemeteries?
Oh no, there's multiple famous people.
Oh, yes.
Joe DiMaggio, who we're standing in front
Joe
of.
DiMaggio, William McCovey,
Freckles family from the sugar
Freckles
company.
family, yes. Haas family, Levi Strauss.
Levi Strauss.
Oh, I mean, the list goes on.
A lot of governors, a lot of mayors from San
Yeah,
Francisco.
Hearst family.
The Hearst family,
The
the
Hearst
paper
family,
company,
right.
newspaper company.
And Wyatt Earp.
Around the turn of the century, San Francisco decided the property was too valuable to have any more cemeteries there. So they came out to Colma, which was wide open at the time, and they started purchasing property. And I think the last cemetery in San Francisco was Laurel Hill, and they exhumed, I think, 45,000 bodies, and they're in a big burial site over at Cypress Lawn on the other side of
But
the
Holy Cross
highway.
was one of the first ones to
Yes.
get by the most property, and they probably will have land for years to come.
And this is the Catholic cemetery.
The Catholic cemetery,
Yes.
yes. And we
A lot
have an
of
Italian
Irish and-
cemetery. We have a Greek cemetery. We have 3 Asian or Chinese and Japanese cemeteries.
But Holy Cross does have a Filipino section that they just put in the last few years.
Yes.
How many graves?
At least 1.5 million.
You've
buried.
both been on the city council. You're now vice mayor
Vice Mayor, correct.
of Colma. This city has fully embraced.
Yeah. Well, we don't consider it a negative thing. You know, we're the city of souls. We protect the people that are buried here. We don't want to happen to them what happened to them in San Francisco. When they moved the grave sites, if you didn't have the money, then they just put you in a mound, which was very sad. So sometimes you'll have folks come to our museum to try to track down their relative because they do have records there. And each one of the cemeteries has records.
The Italian cemetery in October has cinema in the cemetery.
Yes.
A 2-night event there. They'd have a movie. And then this past weekend, Cypress Lawn had the Ghost Run. I run a 5K run through the cemetery.
Yes. These are our parks.
These are
These are our
And
parks.
what nice parks.
memorial
Our kids-
parks, but there are parks.
Our kids grew up here, so they would, you know, when we had a dog, they would walk the dog, or they'd go over in the grassy area and, you know, toss a baseball back and forth. I took a Girl Scout troop when I had my Girl Scout troop. I took them through the Italian cemetery to show them the pictures on some of the gravestones of what the people wore in that era. So the high button boots. And
So it's a history lesson.
it is definitely a history.
That's right.
A lot of people have a negative connotation of death. This town, this community.
We embrace it in a positive manner. You know, because I believe in the spirit. My parents are buried here. His parents are buried here. My grandparents are buried here. We you know, you kind of talk to them indirectly. And sometimes you get answers, believe it or not. You know, maybe spiritually, but you do get answers.
It's a positive thing.
It
Yes. Yes.
You know, they're at peace. You know, they're at rest.
Is this heaven?
Well, we call it the gateway. We do call it the gateway to heaven.
The gateway to
Because
heaven.
Daly City considers them the gateway to the peninsula, but because of the cemeteries and everything, we're really the step
Exactly.
before.
This is my grandfather in 1939.
Back at Molloy's bar, Owen is showing us around, pointing out who's who on the Wall of Fame.
The gentlemen with the hats on are hearse drivers. After the cemetery, they came by here for a little pop before they went back to work. This is my grandfather, Frank, my mother. This is my Uncle Bill. He was a recipient of the Bronze and Silver Star. Over here is my other Uncle Francis.
Are your mom and dad still around?
My mom and dad are passed. They're both up here at Holy Cross, and my grandparents are up there too, and lots of family members.
You got a lot of time left, but when
Mhm.
your day comes, you're going to go to Holy Cross.
Oh, I have a spot ready for me, right next to mom and dad.
How does this place make you feel? Know
Well,
that
it-
you're
it's-
keeping up that legacy and such a landmark.
It's great. I think it's a feeling of accomplishment for us to keep going. Next year we'll be 100th year, and I hope to see it keep going to 200.
And Kelly, as the city's motto says, it's good to be alive in Colma.
This was a fun one, but also an interesting one. We learned so much stuff with Owen and Helen and Dennis and all of the people of Colma.
And as you know, Kelly, one of my favorite cowboy movies is Tombstone, where Kurt Russell plays Wyatt Earp. And after seeing that movie and the scroll at the end about what happened to Wyatt after he left Tombstone, Arizona, well, I always wanted to see where the real Wyatt Earp is buried. that's what led us to this story.
Yeah, and we also got to see Joe DiMaggio's gravesite and lots of others. Let's continue the conversation with Owen Molloy.
They outlawed cemeteries in San Francisco in 1908.
Wait, they can do that? Just outlaw cemetery?
They deemed the land too valuable, and they actually dug up all the cemeteries, moved them out here to Colma.
They dug everybody up.
They dug them up, and I think they charged the family something like $10, and they would bring the body and the tombstone here. And then the people that didn't have the money to be moved, there's one big giant grave site for all of them.
So they value their land so much in San Francisco, they said, no more cemeteries, no more graves, take them somewhere else.
They took them somewhere else, and they built housing complexes all around them.
Do you have any idea how it all centralized here in Colma, of all places?
Well, this was just outside the city limits of San Francisco, so it was the closest spot. The Brooks family had their farm here and owned all the land around here, and they slowly sold off their farm to the different cemeteries. This was their last piece of land, and they sold it to my grandfather, and we changed the name to Molloy's.
Your grandfather, let's talk about him, because this was a true businessman, an entrepreneur. He saw an opportunity for this.
Absolutely. He first came out from Ireland in 1906. He made his way to San Francisco after the 1906 earthquake. He got a job as a bartender at the Palace Hotel. He saved up enough money and went partners and started a bar called the Elbow Room. He eventually sold off that and started a Molloy's south of Market, and then later on bought this bar in 1927. He gave the bar in the city to his oldest son, Francis, and he gave this one to his youngest son, Lanty, my father.
So who comes here? Tell me who your customers are. We know that people having weight.
We have.
It's not your only customer.
That's not at all. I mean, we're a union bar, last of many.
What does that mean?
Well, it's all our employees are union. A lot of our customers are union. All the working class of San Francisco.
It's a working class bar.
It's a working class bar.
What we would call a by God bar.
Everybody knows everybody. Everybody has their birthdays and different celebrations here. But then eventually they have the celebrations a lot. And we got a lot of great loyal customers.
This is one of those, where everybody knows your name type bars, isn't it?
It really is. I can't get through a day without seeing all my friends come in and have a cocktail and tell their stories, unwind a little bit before they go home to their families.
What kind of stories do you hear?
What do people talk about at that bar up there?
Well, I hear a lot of stories of what people do in life. We have a lot of golfers that come in and they talk their golf. We have a lot of people that are in construction and they talk about their different jobs and what's going on. We hear a lot of politics. It's all crazy these days. Everybody likes
fights, bro.
No fights break out, no. But there's definitely different sides.
Is there a story behind the bar itself?
The bar is original from when my grandfather bought it in 1927. The only thing he added was the Ankerstein beer box to the left. It's a gorgeous beer box. It's probably older than the building. There was a bar getting torn down in San Francisco on Front Street in 1930, and my grandfather bought the beer box from it, moved it out here. It was so big he couldn't get it inside, so he cut a hole in the building, moved the beer box in, and then framed the hole in as a window.
So that place ain't going anywhere. That beer box is here to stay.
Well, not unless we unframe that window.
Is there something in here that holds sentimental value more than anything else in this bar?
Well, I have lots of family pictures, so I would say it's all the family. My father's oldest brother, Francis, he inherited the Molloys in San Francisco. And when he passed away, his wife, Doris, was the first person in the United States to collect Social Security death benefits. She had 7 kids. Her youngest daughter is Jason Kidd's mother, the basketball coach.
Oh, yeah.
You guys are from Dallas. There we go. Yes. So Jason Kidd's great-grandfather Frank Molloy started the bar.
Small world. Who knew?
Yeah.
You knew.
Great guy. They say Wyatt Earp used to come here and drink after boxing matches. He's buried right down the street here. So they outlawed boxing in San Francisco in 1906. Too many people were dying in the ring. All the boxing promoters moved outside the city limits here to Colma once again. And they had several championship fights here up the street, and they used to all come down here and drink afterwards.
Well, Colma is the city of opportunity. Outlaw boxing in San Francisco, so they bring it here. They outlaw burials in San Francisco, so they bring it here. Tell us about this bar. First of all, what are your earliest memories of being in this place?
Oh, my earliest memories. There used to be this famous columnist, Herb Kane, and he used to hang out here. And he used to write articles about the bar all the time. And when I was a little kid, he wrote an article about me running through the bar with my shoelaces untied. So that was something.
You know how old you were back then?
Oh, I had to be 6 or something like that. I think
Grew up here.
when I was 10, Evel Knievel rode his motorcycle through the bar here.
Through the bar.
Yeah, he rode it through the bar, yeah.
My parents growing up, we had death in the family, but as a child, they didn't want us as kids to go to funerals.
You guys grow up around that. Everybody from Colma.
You go through Colma, and at any time you can be stopped by a funeral procession and sit and wait 5-10 minutes for all the cars to go by.
Do you think it's healthy being around death?
Did it change your attitude about it? About end of life?
You know, you got to celebrate life. You know, it's sad when someone young passes away, but most of the time it's someone older and they've lived a long, good life, and everybody gets to tell the good stories.
What can people find on the walls here? I notice you've got a lot of pictures, old newspapers.
Absolutely is. My grandfather and my father and myself all love history. And so we've collected newspapers and pictures of San Francisco and the Bay Area, and saved them and framed them and put them up here.
What does it mean to have history on the wall?
It is like our own museum. I have a large collection that I rotate pictures in and out, and it seems like we're always having something donated by customers. They all know how much we love history. It's like our own little museum.
Why do you like history so much?
Well, it's just part of my family.
Looking at the walls here, Owen,
I
this
used
place documents the last 100 years of America.
I tell you, when I was a kid and I have to do reports for school, I would come in here and copy it off the walls.
Your teachers obviously didn't spend a lot of time in here to know that it came straight off the wall.
I think they might have gave me a slide either way. This was when the Brooks family owned it. It was called the Brooksville Hotel. Peter Brook, who built it, tragically died in a streetcar accident out front here. There used to be a streetcar that went from the ferry building in San Francisco right past here, and he got hit by a streetcar and died. And then his daughter, Sarah Whelan, inherited, and she sold it to my grandfather. I think after she got in trouble for avoiding the prohibition laws.
So your grandfather actually owned it during Prohibition.
Absolutely, he ran it during Prohibition.
Do you think this legacy will continue?
Oh, absolutely. I have a couple nephews that work here now, and I have a 17-year-old son. We'll see if he's ready to do it. But I'm the youngest of 8. There's a lot of us out there.
By my math, so this place opened in what, the mid-1920s?
No, the bar was built in 1883 by the Brooks family. They ran it until 1927, and then my father took it over. So next year will be my grandfather took it over.
What does this place mean to you personally?
Well, it's my family's legacy. My grandfather, Frank, had a great idea of starting a bar during Prohibition across the street from a Catholic cemetery. And here we are almost 100 years later.
And you're keeping those doors open.
Forever.
Serving up the gas.
Mm-hmm. And the Irish whiskey.
How long do you think you'll do it?
I don't ever plan on retiring.
You're going to move from here across the street?
Across the street eventually. Hopefully not too soon. I don't know. I just enjoy it. It's my big family. I don't see what I would do with my days if I didn't have this place to come to. It's great.
Oh, and you may be the luckiest guy on the planet. You know that? You got
I think so. I think so. We do well here at Molloy's.
Our exploration of the City of Souls was just one of our stops on our massive USA 250 tour, where we are visiting every state in the nation. We're finding those stories strange, solemn, and spectacular that built this country. Of course, you can follow along on our adventures. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, as well as YouTube. On the Road with Kelly and Bob, new episodes drop every week. Listen wherever you get your podcast or download the free Odyssey app. Listen anytime, anywhere.